Hello, good afternoon. It's a sunny Saturday, but I'm stuck in because look what's just arrived via airmail from China. I was a bit dubious at first. I thought, it said free post on eBay. And what it is, the Tarzan horn, which expired a couple of months ago. I looked on the little circuit board and there's two pairs of voltage regulators with numbers on B772 and D882. And it says NEC, but that's the only manufacturing name. I think they're just a generic voltage regulator. Although on the website, I just typed their numbers in eBay and they come up in China, and you can get 10 for less than £1.50. Look at that, like a little ring box, and you see. And there they are. I'm amazed. I actually sent a message. I said, "Is this correct? Free post? Would you like some postage?" "No, it's okay. I combine postage, two different types. They call them power transistors. But if it's that same number, they've got to work." It's we'll see, won't we? It's cheap enough to write off if they don't work. But I mean, that's the only thing I can see that looks sort of knackered on the circuit board. Unless it's the actual chip that's burnt out. No, when that voltage regulator there failed, it was rattling around and I re-soldered it. I think in the time it was off and there was still power getting to it. If it wasn't regulated fully, then it might have burnt something out, you know. But like I said, we'll see. I'll have to mop up the old solder with that little braiding thing. You touch that on the back, on the solder with your iron, and it soaks up the old solder. Very fiddly with bloody 4 of them to do with 3 pins each, but like I said, I'll do a test after. I still have all the things. That's a speaker wire, that's a power wire. That just plugs in here. And I've got the button control which plugs in there. So we'll see, because they don't make them anymore. You can get it, in America they do a Tarzan horn on its own and a wolf whistle on its own. But not a combination, they're all silly bloody sirens or them daft animal noises. Anyway, if it works I'll do a follow-up. If it doesn't, I'll chuck it all in the bin. Bye for now. Hello again. It doesn't seem like 2 minutes ago since I was faffing about with this. It wasn't, it was about half an hour ago. Yeah, used the little braid to melt the old solder, got the old thingies out. And fitted the new ones. I've assembled it. I cheated really because I've just tested it. And guess what? And that battery is actually a bit dud. I'm going to charge it. I actually switched that bloody switch with a charger. Plugged this in and that buzzed. I thought, shit, I burnt it out again. Because that's banging amps into the battery. Never do that. In fact, years ago my brother had a CB radio and he connected that to a battery charger. No, not realising you'll burn all the bloody circuits out if there isn't a safety fuse. That's meant to have a fuse actually. It's definitely off there. I've got little lights, yes. You hear that little click then? Let's have a listen. And it's full volume as well. When I mended it before it was a bit quiet. Yes, we're back in business. Amazing, after 15 years I'm burning it out. And I've got a load of spares as well if it happens again. I'm just amazed it's come from China. So I mended it for less than £3. Wentao Industrial Park, Ying, Ren, Shi Village, Xi'an, Beoan, Shenzhen, China. And they criticise Chinese stuff, it works. And I've got some neat little boxes. I'll put all them back in there. Yeah, I'm amazed. So there we are. Don't throw stuff away. Have a look on the internet. All it was burnt out voltage regulators. And I'm going to get around that because I found an old light. I saved a load of old light switches. That was off a spotlight. And I could use that as a contact breaker. Instead of banging the power out, which is that when it was under my bike seat, that was plugged in all the time, which kind of helped the situation. And also, it should be ventilated. That little hole I've realised is to ventilate the little chips I've just replaced because they do get hot. So, because that was in that leather pouch under my seat, there's no air getting to it. I mean, they're designed for cars, you know, so if that gets wet, it's going to ice up. And if it gets too hot, it's going to ice up. So, like I said, a way around that. When it's connected on a sunny day, use that and just switch it on. And the rest of the time, switch your power off. Just break that contact. Wire that to that, that to that. The insulation tape. Put that in the bag. Probably put that in the bag, but not when it's switched on. Anyway, I'll sort something out. There we are, working fine. We'll see how long for, won't we? But like I said, I've got lots of backup chips now for peanuts. Marvellous, has that cooled down? Yes, that was only a cheap thing, $3.99. So there we are, mended, sorted. Tarzan horns going back on, taking that crap one off. Okay, thanks for watching, bye for now. From me, Tarzan, Roadrunner. Silly one. So there we are, mended, marvellous. Goodbye.